Hi everybody, it's Major Jade Star, your Tantra coach and embodiment coach in relationships, starting with yourself. And today, I've been wanting to do this one for a while because we're living in a world where a lot of us want to know how to love better, how to be better, and how to connect better. And for today, we're going to talk about the art of self-control. This is the ability to slow down in presence. And the reason I want to make this particular podcast today, is that I recognize what tends to happen a lot in relationships is that men and women seem to not understand each other, seem to come to a space where women are expressing themselves and men are like, I just don't know what I've done wrong. And so we're going to clear the air right now. We're going to get into recognizing the signs, understanding a little bit better about how women operate, how men operate, and how we can come together to really understand each other. So while this is small talk per se, it has a big bang as far as the juiciness and the weight of how this is going to work in your life. And I can't even stress this enough, guys. Your space is not to fix a woman. Never has been. She's not actually asking you to fix her when she comes to a space where she needs to talk about anything. It can be anything and everything. One of the things I really like to say to people when they come into my practice is that women are like water. We are cyclical. We move, we flow, we emote. That is very much our natural nature. And what tends to happen is when we get into the vicinity of another man, men are fire, they're very direct, they're very linear, get to the point. They tend to not know how to hold the space. So a couple of things happen here that becomes very rocky pretty fast, is that women being in their natural nature are letting it roll. Men are trying to fix it, get to the point, what's the thing that you need, and they want to fix this immediately. So I want to pause and slow this down as much as I can. Gentlemen, your position is only to hold this space, and the ability to do so is going to require that you do enough work to be actively present without trying to rush to a finish line. So I hope that makes sense to you. The hardest thing I think that I see at times in the field of Tantra, because most people just immediately assume that Tantra is just about sex. It's not about sex, it's about connection, it's about intimacy. It's about being able to unite first with the recognition of ourselves, and then when we're working with ourselves, we can do this with another person, with each other on a more intimate level. And sex leads into that, but it isn't the cake itself, okay? It's kind of the icing, if we can understand that. All right, so here's one of the biggest things that I think is that, besides the men wanting to fix women, is that they almost want to rush into, well, sweetheart, let me hold you, and that is fine. That's great. Holding, being there in a space until it becomes pushed into something sexual. So here's the part I really want to talk about, because men, you have got to understand this is the line you don't want to cross with women. When women are going through an emotional roller coaster, a purging, a need to express themselves, what they don't need is someone bypassing, dismissing, belittling, not acknowledging, and trying to get somewhere sexual in hopes that that will just make them feel better. Again and again, I have told people that do not solve your problems. Don't try to solve your problems in the bedroom. It won't work. It makes things much worse. Even if women try and pursue this, what they're used to doing is bypassing, dismissing, and hoping that if they can get that chemical override, everything will be better and they can just get through the day. But let me tell you, it's still sitting in there. So if you bypass or just push things down, it doesn't make them go away, it just buries them deeper. Another thing I want to tell you, because I think that a lot of people don't recognize this, is that the yoni holds emotion and trauma. So if you keep bypassing, you keep trying to amplify your sexual advances, you keep thinking that if you just get in the bedroom and make love and have sex, and you keep overriding, guess what? She keeps having more and more outbursts, things keep getting more explosive with her, and you're like, what's going on? I don't understand. It's because we're not actually addressing the issue, okay? And the reason I want to talk about presence and slowing down here is because, guys, and this is why I push for meditation, when you can be present and pause, when you can maintain your own control, when you can hold her, look into her eyes, breathe with her, let her go, move through it. It helps if she moves her body. It really does. But we're not talking about sex. We're talking about moving her body, even dancing, even flowing. But if she can't do that, just being able to be with you and let her roll till she finds her own solution. And it's in there, 100%. And what you've got to do is just allow the space. And that doesn't mean prompting her to go, baby, I know you got this. Come on, get to the, because then again, you're trying to rush to the finish line. Okay, and she's like a seedling coming through and blossoming, right? She needs a little time and space to get to the vision, to get to the answer, to understand what she needs. Your space is to support her and see her and approve of her in the space that she's in, okay? So what happens in most circumstances, and I've had this has happened to me more than once too, and it's very disheartening. Let me use that word, because it feels like when you are feeling, being, honoring the self, and a man is actually thinking only about sex, only about his desires and his passions, he's not actually seeing the person in front of him. And that's the truth. He is literally too consumed with his own spin of, oh, I need this, that he's actually making things way worse. And a woman will become resentful, shielded, defensive, and cold faster than you can say lemony snickets. Now, how fast can I say that one? So, slowing down. This is not just a concept, guys. It's really, really important that you learn to do that. And the best way to do that is, of course, through meditation, is through sitting in stillness, recognizing where you are feeling your needs, your cravings, your desires, where they're taking over the space of stillness, coming back again to stillness, coming back to the space, and you are really changing your brain. You see, most of us in life are operating from this tiny little peanut-sized amygdala sitting in our brain, and it's doing a lot of the work. And it really is an ego-driven, monkey mind, very noisy, disruptive part of our brain, and it keeps us very small in our minds, small minds, all right? And when you're meditating, what you're doing is lighting up other centers of your brain. You're quieting the amygdala, you're going into the space where you can relax and observe, and you can start to see the separation between the voice that says, I need something right now, and the ability to just hold space, okay? So this is training. It's like going into a gym and lifting weights. It takes time to do it. With repetition, you do get a lot better. So again, remembering that women are water and men are fire, and they're not supposed to be interchangeable. Women are not going to be fire ever, and men are not going to be water ever. That's not our physiology, actually. We are very much structured in a space that is supposed to help us understand each other. It keeps us also engaged. We are like a puzzle, right? It keeps us from being bored. Let's say that too. We're always investigating on how to connect to each other deeper. And what I find is there's always layers in connections, again and again, where we just go, my goodness, these are new things that I've learned about you, but you have to be willing to slow down and have self-control. And that self-control also means that if your woman is coming in and she's deciding, oh, let's just have, hot, fiery, grudge sex, and let's just go right into it, but you put the pause on that too, and you go, no, no, baby, we're not bypassing what's happening right now. Let's make sure that we are connected, we've cleared the air, and we've come to a space with each other's hearts before we go further. All right? Because, again, this is bypassing and shoving things down. And possibly there's nothing more irritating than a woman really coming into a space where she trusts her partner and he's only thinking about how to get in her pants. That's an act of consumption, not an act of devotion. And so I know I'm saying this like it's a simple 1, 2, 3, but you do have to know what's happening in front of you when it happens. And women are absolutely 100% going to have times when they are emotional. They're supposed to be. We're not hysterical. We, just like most men, have not been allowed to express without being shoved into stuff it down, don't say that, don't be that way, you're being irrational, this, that, and the other. And then we freeze up. And so when women are not able to feel safe talking to a man, she clamps up, stops, and goes into defense mode. And then when you ask her, honey, what's wrong? What does she say? Nothing. I'm fine. Those words, I'm fine, are like a dagger. You know she's not saying the truth. But why? Why? Because she's not really felt safe enough in your proximity where the space can be held, where she can just be who she is. Now, how long do you let this go on? Because women can really, really, really let it roll, right? It can happen for a little while. And here's the thing, you want a solution. So the directive here, guys, is to hold the space, but also remind your woman of how amazing she is, how strong she is, how proud you are of her. And if she's doing her work, she'll be able to take that. She'll be able to ingest that, even if it's a little bit hard in the moment, because receiving seems to be something that's a challenge for us women. We are told we're supposed to give and give and give, and we're not really supposed to take it back, and we're actually running on empty most of the time. So what you can do is continue to let her know that you are seeing her, you are witnessing her, and you're holding space for her. You are going to learn how to slow down. And that's one of the most magical components in a relationship for a man. Slow down, observe, and then act accordingly in response, not reaction. So say she says something to you that really gets you going. Look, if you're not doing your meditation, you're going to take it personal. And the moment you take it personal, you two are going to be in a war with each other, which is not what you need here. So relationships are work on both ends. First of all, women and men have to do their own work individually. That's just the way it is. When you go to therapy, you don't just come to couples counseling. You go to individual counseling and you go to couples counseling, because there are things that need to be worked on, of course, away from each other. And that's really important. And I can't stress this enough. If it's only one of you doing the work, you're going to struggle. So both of you need to be willing to be humble enough to recognize that it's important that both of us do our individual work and our work together. And so, guys, I know a lot of you are dealing with being able to be vulnerable yourselves. Like, you're probably saying, well, so what happens if I'm having an emotional moment and I really need to express? And that is equally as important too. Now remember, I did say that men were fire. That doesn't mean that you don't feel. It doesn't mean that you're not vulnerable. It doesn't mean that you don't have moments. And it also means that your lady should be able to hold space for you too, with exactly the same dynamics as not to fix you. There's no end goal. There's no trying to get to the point. The point is, it's not relevant. What's happening in the moment is relevant. And then what comes out of that is the growth, right? So she's going to have exactly the same things for you, holding the space, not trying to push you into a dynamic, and certainly not trying to take things personally herself. And I know, that's saying a lot. That really is. Because we do have to pause and be held accountable for the words that come out of our mouth, don't we? We have to learn to respond and not react. And that takes work in itself. So, I want to invite you guys to take the opportunity to see and experience what it's like to have private one-on-one sessions with me, or even Zoom sessions if you are not in my vicinity in the same state or city that I'm in and are needing this wonderful connection and this depth of awareness in your relationships. I find that all relationships, as they start with you, end up spilling out into every relationship you have in your life, and that includes with your children, your boss, your mother, your father, and most certainly your intimate partner. So I'm very, very excited to be working with a lot of you, and love doing one-on-one practices because I get to understand and have you guys in the energy and the space right there to really feel into what it is you're looking for, where there are points you wish to strengthen, where there might be spaces that still need illumination. So I invite you to please follow or subscribe and connect with me as much as you can. Ask those questions. They're really important. Relationships are like layers. We're always finding parts of ourselves we didn't know existed before, and we're always growing deeper. Yes. And so I cannot wait to hear your own experiences together as you're doing this practice. Let me know how it's worked for you. Let me know how it was to just slow down, to be aware. And let me know also how this has amplified your intimacy by taking these small but powerful initiatives with each other. All right, guys, I'm really looking forward to it and looking forward to meeting a lot of you as well. All right, take care and I'll see you soon.